All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are getting ready to get this party started. Oh my goodness. Just one moment and we will be live, so sit tight. We're going to be showing off some great gameplay footage of EVERSPACE 2 and have a couple treats for you to see as well. So please get ready for some fun times. Boom! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the official Rockfish Games stream of EVERSPACE 2, where you're getting your news and info immediately from us, straight from the developers. I'm your host, Eric Schrader, Community Ambassador for Rockfish Games. I serve you guys, and this is your stream. So by all means, ask your questions, point out your concerns, share your stories of EVERSPACE 1, and it's going to be a grand old adventure today. So we're going to be diving into EVERSPACE 2's playable demo, and we're going to be talking about it as a whole for anybody who isn't familiar with the game at all. For those of you who are, just sit tight. We have a couple of really fun announcements to make. One of which actually recently dropped. We had another Kickstarter update number 4. We posted out a new vlog. We'll be showing that live on the stream. But first, let's dive in here and let's show off what this game is all about and what we are doing with it. Oh my goodness, there's the music. I am watching this on Twitch, YouTube, and Steam. So hello to all of you folks in all of those different corners of the internet. If you are on Steam and you are seeing this on the EVERSPACE 1 homepage, please don't get confused. There's a title that says it is EVERSPACE 2. You can click on a link right down here to view broadcasting source. It'll pop me out to a separate window with a chat box. Dive into that chat. Ask me questions. Let's have a conversation. It'll be delightful. Over on YouTube, hello. I'm seeing Michael's over there already under Rockfish Games. That is the CEO that you'll be speaking to. He'll be answering questions over there. We already have a question from Jackson saying, can we put custom decals on our ships? Whew. All right. I'm already loving these questions. Just wait. We got some information to share with you. That's good. That's good. Over on Twitch, I'm seeing Sarbomb. I see NolJDQ, Karam Shin, Shiru GL, Hitten Bongs, EP Reppins. Oh my goodness, all you guys looking great. So let's get in here. Let's talk about EVERSPACE 2. What is EVERSPACE 2? Perfect. EVERSPACE 2 is an arcadey space shooter in an open world RPG setting. For anyone who's familiar with EVERSPACE 1, there's a little bit of a change that happened there. In particular, we are maintaining the arcadey space shooting elements. So you're going to see as we dive into this that the ships have a pretty similar look and feel as you're navigating the space of combat. But the open world RPG is very new. In fact, this is a pretty huge genre shift for us. EVERSPACE 1 used a roguelite system, or as we described it as roguelike elements. What that means is that it had procedural generation. Everywhere you went was randomized. You had to improvise with the assortment of tools at your disposal that you had on hand in the moment. And when you died, you had to start all the way over, zip, and try again. That is no longer. Nay, I say to you, now we have a persistent world that will interact and change based on what you do through the campaign. That will be 20 to 30 hours of your enjoyment that you can, of course, branch off and go whatever you want to do in this vast open world area, which will be filled with tons of side missions, jobs galore for various factions that you encounter, maybe alien races, as well as tons of opportunities to explore cosmic anomalies, unknown signals, and all the various things that you would fully expect from a very arcadey shooter in space. So what we're looking at here is the home base where you'd be starting your adventures. And we have a selection of 3 ships to go for. We have the Sentinel, which is very reminiscent of the DLC ship in EVERSPACE 1. We have the Interceptor, which is kind of the flagship if you will. EVERSPACE 1 saw this. It's the main ship that you start your very first run with, but this one's been a bit more, how you say, decked out. It's definitely not the same thing we're akin to. It's got a couple more tricks up its sleeve. And finally, we've got this new one, the Assault Fighter. The name could possibly change. In fact, I should mention right now that what you're seeing is a prototype. We are a year and a half into development. We have a Kickstarter that's live right now. So if you are going to like what you see here, if you like the answers being questions, please support us. It goes a long way, not just for us, but also for you. This is a product that we really want to craft with your experience as well as ours. So your feedback becomes very invaluable. It's about putting your money where your mouth is, not just us making a space game. So please consider supporting us. So the Assault Fighter, all of this stuff that you're seeing before you, this is all a prototype build. Anything and everything could technically change. This is like a sliver of what the full game is going to have for when it releases, all the way out in 2021. It's a long way, I know. When the Kickstarter's done, we will be giving the demo to anybody who Kickstarter supports us at a certain tier and higher. Basically, if you buy the game, then you will get the demo. I think it's like the 4th tier up. I think it's 40 euros is the cost. And from there onward, yeah. And then in addition to that, the alpha, the beta, and the early access all start next year. That's going to be so important for us to work together and make this game the best it can possibly be. Your feedback is what saved EVERSPACE 1. It made it so much more of an experience to be had, and we want to go that exact same route, pushing through in EVERSPACE 2. It's going to be Steam early access, so it's going to be easily accessible to most PC gamers out there. We're also finding ways to see if we can bring on Linux players to that mix as well. I know that we've heard that cry out there, so we're thinking about you. If we can wing something, we certainly will. All right, that's enough disclaimers. Let's dive into this. So the Assault Fighter, naming could change. This thing is kind of a combination between both Sentinels and Interceptors. It really relies on not only sheer force, but also manipulating the space to tackle your foes. So that's why it has a weapon overdrive and an EMP generator on it, just to start things off with. All right. Whew. Darth Trethon says, I saw the video about ship customization, still picking my jaw off the floor. Good. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun ship customization. Now, I'm going to do this just because it's fun to see. We actually have a big GIF jump that shows a lot of different elements of EVERSPACE 2. One of the thing is like the various different ships forms. We're going to see a little bit more of this later in this stream, but like you can see here where we have some pretty dynamic ranges of what the ships are going to look like. And this is essentially randomizing between 11 different models that we just threw together. They were all randomized and have different colors, different styles. And all of these that you see here, these are all medium ship classes. This is not a mixture of every single ship in the game. This is just a third of the randomized parts that are added. And it's not even all the randomized parts yet. So as you can see, there's going to be a lot of different ways to move forward. In fact, I think I want to take this ship out for a spin. If any of you have been on any forms of social media, really, this is actually the ship we've been showing on a big light wall in the background. We had it taken at 16K resolution. So let's fly this guy out because he's just delightful. Before we do that, let's talk about some of the systems on board the ship, and then I'll be poking at the questions you guys are already asking. I know you are, and don't worry, I'll get to you in just a moment. So on your inventory screen, it's somewhat similar to what we had in EVERSPACE 1, where you have your primaries, secondaries, and consumables, but you'll notice that something's missing there. In EVERSPACE 1, your devices were also a slot that you would get and you would plug into your ship or you would take off of your ship. That's no longer the case here. Instead, the device is actually bound to the ship subclass. So in the case of this, the Sentinel can only use the EMP generator and cloak, whereas the Interceptor can only use the weapon overdrive, energize boost, and teleporter. Again, these are placeholders. There's very likely to be some device swapping around, especially with the light and the heavy classes. But rest assured, we'll have all that galore to go with. So instead of the device slots, now we have modules. And each one of these modules is unique in and of itself. Now we have the energy core, the shield, plating, sensor, engine, and cargo slot that you can apply to your ship, whatever ship that you're flying, to give you outrageous bonuses and special abilities. Cargo slot can actually give you super crazy bonuses based on the rolls, because the itemization of EVERSPACE 2 is more akin to something like Diablo in space. You'll get to see a little bit more of that as well, but just holding my mouse over the top of this pulse laser, for example, you'll see tons of stats poured out for you here, kind of similar to EVERSPACE 1. Most important things to note is we have kinetic damage, we have energy damage. That kinetic damage just shows how much it would do to the hull, whereas the energy shows you how much it would do to shields. All of those little stats underneath, those are what can be modified based on what attributes are applied to it. And those attributes, we will see in a little bit, that could be anything from bypassing shields to giving you health back on shot, or just straight up having faster weapon fire. And also the occasional legendary trait as well that might completely disable the ship's shields for 5 seconds upon a critical hit. Or maybe it will encourage the fighter to join you for a moment. Or maybe it will electrify everything around the target and have crazy splash damage. Lots of different concepts are floating out in the wild right now, and we are going to have a lot of fun with developing legendary and exotic styled weapons, as well as secondaries and various modules to boot. So there's a lot to be looking forward to with all that. This last little area down here are our cargo slots, and over here is the home base's storage. So not only are you able to hold stuff on your ship, but you'll be able to collect and distribute all of your goods between the various ships that you would collect through the course of the game, and apply them to your liking. Next, we have this management tab. This is where you're going to operate primarily to tweak and min-max your ship. Through, of course, your inventory, but also through various perks and abilities. Can't really speak too much more on it because it's heavily in development, of course, since it's not even available to show here. But rest assured, you'll have a lot of different pathways to tweak and modify yourself to the playstyle of your liking. Next, we have the world map. And here, it's not too big. We just have a single solar system here and a couple places to go. This is just for demonstration purposes, for the demo. And you can see a lot of these sites say NA, drat. We can't look at those together just yet, but I guarantee you we will show off quite a bit more in the future, so just sit tight on that. But what I can show you is scrolling out, you'll see that there are several different solar systems, and each one of these sites has a lot of different points inside of them as well. And these are just kind of as an example. This is not done in the slightest. There's going to be a lot more points than this. All of those locations as well are handcrafted. As I mentioned before, it's an open world RPG experience, and as such, you are not going to have tons and tons of randomization occurring. Now it's very static, it's very intentionally placed, and your actions in certain areas may be very permanent, so keep that in mind as well. And the last slot over here are the missions tabs. Obviously, we are still heavily in development. We don't have any more to show here, but rest assured, when you're pulling different missions or progressing through your campaign, or taking on tasks from your companions, which we'll talk way more about in the future as well, all of that's going to be cataloged here to keep track of and navigate all of those pathways to acquire your bounties and satisfy your requirements for that specific base raid, or whatever task that you have. It's all going to be contained here. All right, so that's a lot of information, and it's only been 15 minutes into the stream. Whew, there's going to be a test afterwards. I hope you're taking notes. Goodness. All right, let's look and see what some of your questions are, and then we're going to go fly this bad boy out, because I know you guys are already asking questions. Let me just scroll on up and see. Are we the bad guys in EVERSPACE 2? Oh my goodness, Shiro. If you want to be, maybe. Is it too early to ask about regional pricing? Yes. Yeah, there's still a lot more to go. A lot can change in 2 years. So it is a bit too early. Let's see. The last few streams I've seen, space looking very blue. I'm not familiar with the original game, but are there some more colorful areas to fly around in? Not in the demo, but in the full game? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we romanticized what space looked like in EVERSPACE 1 because we wanted it to always remain interesting and beautiful and vibrant. And that's exactly what our mentality is moving into EVERSPACE 2. So yeah, you'll see a lot of variation in backdrops. In fact, next week we'll have more to talk about with environments. So stay tuned for that because we'll reveal even more goodies. Oh my gosh. But that's not the focus today. It's all about dem ships. All about dem ships. Is hyperspace blue because all the incoming light is blue shifted? Probably. In what size range will the ships be? A great question. Talon24 on Twitch. Essentially, I like to use Star Wars as a reference because everybody should know Star Wars pretty well. If you're familiar with the A-Wing, that's about that size as your smallest ship. And then if you're familiar with the Millennium Falcon, I'm sure you've heard of that one. That's about as large as your ship is going to go. And the variety of sizes within that range are all in between, much like these medium ship classes on screen right here. Most of these are kind of in that middle, in between ground. Another good question. Let's see. I'm going to do a couple more, and then we're going to fly on out. Man, you guys are barraging, and I love it. Gunship like the big player ship in EVERSPACE 1. I am actually going to pass off some secret imagery of the gunship later in this stream, so stand by and I'll show you some concepts behind the scenes of some block out models. It's not going to have any color to it, but it's a little snippet of the development process that I think you guys are really going to appreciate, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be fun. Let's see, do you guys at Rockfish recycle? That's a question for Michael. Michael, do you recycle at Rockfish? Of course, at the studio. I do work for Rockfish Games. It's just that I'm the American ambassador, so I'm based in my own home. I'm in the basement of my house doing this live stream recording, but the team is based out of Hamburg, Germany. So while I work remotely, the team and their recycling, they're going to have to answer that one. I recycle at home, though. Save the world. Awesome. Am I the only one who keeps trying to click on the icons at the top bar of the star map? Oh my gosh. That's funny. Will there be different visual effects on weapons to match factions? Talon. What a great question. In Freelancer, how Rhineland weapons were greenish and Liberty weapons are bluish. There are going to be a lot of different... Let's just dive out here. There's going to be a lot of different color options for your weapons. So like right now we see green is firing from this pulse laser. That was just randomly applied. The color of this, the autocannon, is yellow. Again, just randomly applied. We're probably going to have a bit more with ways to customize the appearance of your weapons as well. Now, I might be getting a little ahead of myself and saying that because that's a topic for another day. Again, the good old focus today is going to be them playable ships, which is why we are flying with class in this new Starfighter. Ah, delightful. I opted for the first Flush Edition and hope this gets funded. Icefire122, seriously, thank you for your support. I hope that you will join us along for the ride of development, provide your great feedback so we can truly make this game the best possible experience with you. Support goes a long way, seriously, thank you for that. Alright, so combat, as you can see, right out of the gates, it's very, very reminiscent of EVERSPACE 1. We received a lot of critical acclaim when it came to the controls, in fact. And we wanted to maintain that. It's arcadey space shooting, fast-paced. We want to make sure that you can move exactly how you need to move. I am currently playing on mouse and keyboard, but rest assured you can also pick this up with a controller. And we are fine-tuning those even just now. There will also be HOTAS support, so if you have a joystick and you want to give that a whirl, by all means. And you can also do so from a cockpit view. That is currently being worked on. If you saw our vlog today, you'll actually have seen just a little tempting imagery of those different cockpits. But we'll share that a little bit later in the stream as well, just so you can see it again if you missed it, or just a second time if you did. So we're going to go over here, get this craggly rock destroyed with a missile, take some goods. Oh, very good. Now, I'm going to go into the inventory. We've been picking up a couple items. I just want to show how this applies your various tweaks and upgrades. Here we have an energy core, a superior energy core, in fact, that has just a little bit better stats, and it also offers 14 repair, which is one of the attributes of your ship. You have 6 different attributes. That's just one of them. And it also has 134 meter tractor beam range addition to it. Again, this is on the energy core. This is not on our sensor. This is on the energy core. So you can already start seeing how certain things are going to affect all of the different elements in play based on what you find and what you utilize. So we're going to go ahead and pop this on. That's going to help us quite a bit. And our plating here gives us 7 structure. That's another one of the unique attributes of the ship itself. And it gives us 56 more armor to boot. So obviously we're going to use that as well. As we've been strengthened up, we're going to just pick up a couple scrap metal out here, take on some enemies, and look about the area. We have this ancient damaged glyph. It's kind of like a power-up. So as long as we're holding this, we're going to dish out quite a lot more damage. If he can quit evading on us. Perfect. Just a couple hits and he's gone. Let's see what's going on at this base. We've got this outlaw bomb thrower. So what I'm going to do is let go of the power-up for the moment. I'm going to let this thing throw a bomb at us. And you know what? We're going to grab it and we're going to throw it back. Do it again. Perfect. So we have a grapple on the front of our ship this time around. And it's going to be very useful to not only interact with various objects within the space of EVERSPACE 2, but also utilizing additional tools and tomfoolery against your opponents. For example, this little missile, you'll see I can't actually grab it yet. But maybe with a couple upgrades down the line, we would be able to even throw missiles back at the foes who launched us at us. These annoying little drones, I know you guys don't like drones. It's totally cool. Maybe you'll be able to grapple them as well and chuck them into a nearby asteroid. It's quite satisfying. Unfortunately, we don't have the upgrades yet in the demo to do so. And of course, there will be many other ways to utilize your grapple as well, including but not limited to ripping out pieces of hull or armor on your foes, maybe to navigate into an interior space or a secret area. There's going to be a lot to do. Let's see, we got this railgun. It's a different weapon, so we're going to go ahead and apply it. We're going to look what it looks like. This is basically the shock rifle from EVERSPACE 1. And let's go into this cave, see what's going on, and use this. Oh, that feels really nice. We'll activate this drone for our liking, and then we could open the container. I'm just going to shoot it to save time. And then we'll fly on out and be on our way. I want to show one more thing off in this area, then I'll answer some more of your questions. This is a shadow creature. This little guy has to remain in the shadows in order to survive. He needs a mate. So we have to find a way over here. This one's actually relatively easy since most of this asteroid is providing cover for us, but if we go too high, as you can see, well actually, we're not even going to go too high. We're just going to stay in the shade, right around here, meet his buddy, and he gives us some dark matter. This is one of many little mini games that you'll discover in various areas that can give you just a little additional goods or tools to better yourself and plan for the worst. Alright, so we are going to get ready to go into Superlight Travel, but first, let's check out some of the questions you guys have been asking. That ship resembles a Jedi starfighter. We have taken inspiration from a mini sci-fi realm, and Star Wars is absolutely one that we admire and appreciate considerably. Would you believe that this model is actually primarily based off of the model of the Sentinel in EVERSPACE 1? Just take a moment, look at that. If you guys are familiar with EVERSPACE 1's Sentinel, you'll see it's very, very similar, but it's also a bit more advanced. So I can definitely see the Jedi Starfighter there a bit, but at the same time, that's pretty different. But good observation. What else we got? Recycling at our studio? Of course we do. There you go, guys. Rockfish recycles. Perfect. I love battles where friendlies joined in. Are we going to see some more fleet versus fleet battles with EVERSPACE 2? I would argue that we didn't really see too much of a fleet versus fleet battle in EVERSPACE 1. But that's changing. And we're going to have a mini character in EVERSPACE 2 to encounter who will definitely join your side, whether for a time or maybe even permanently. We'll have to see how things develop down the line, but rest assured, you will definitely have your own little squadrons that are going to be able to navigate certain spaces at certain times. Hoping everything goes accordingly through development. Of course, we'll have more to speak on that as things move forward. So, a great question. Can we make convoy missions for freighters? Probably. Yeah, I mean, there's in fact, there's several missions right now in the demo where you can get pulled out of warp, and there's outlaw fighters assaulting a convoy, and so you have to go and protect them. There's going to be a lot of different jobs that you'll take on from, like, the G&B faction in particular, who's notorious for having various freighters and transports navigating around the area of the demilitarized zone, also known as the Beltigrades. And I'm sure that they could use a strong hand to guide them from one destination to another. So, good question. Let's see. Dialogue options in the story. So we're very much wanting a straightforward approach with how the story itself progresses. So to that degree, it's going to be pretty linear. However, you can create your own story by taking on the various jobs and sightseeing and side missions that you can acquire, as well as doing dirty work for certain factions to your desire, or not. So, to a degree, you kind of shape your own story, but it's not going to be through dialogue options, it's going to be by doing. So the control is in your hands, not just somebody else's mouth that you click a button to say. Any more questions before we warp out? Talon, you are asking some great questions. You're wonderful. I love you. Thank you so much for your engagement here in the stream. We have characters. It's so nice to have some friendly chatter around. Speaking of which, can one pick up on radio chatter of neutral ships? Oh, we had a little bit of that with EVERSPACE 1. I'm sure that'll come back. I'm sure that'll come back and be a little bit more significant even. So that's good. Flat cannon? Yes. In the demo? No, unfortunately I can't show you. It's still in development because we want it to be awesome, as I'm sure you want it to be as well. So, it's coming. Let's see. Are all weapon systems from EVERSPACE 1 also in EVERSPACE 2? If they aren't directly, there's at least a variation of those weapon types that we're looking into. A lot can change, a lot can be manipulated as of right now. So the goal is to basically capitalize on most things that were in EVERSPACE 1 and just simply make them better and more expansive in EVERSPACE 2. But time will tell, and we'll have a lot more to talk about and share of those elements when they come to light so that we can show you instead of just say, oh, we have these ideas. So great question. We would love to. Absolutely, we would love to. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. What about huge colonial ships spawning? Oh, of course. Of course. The colonials, I mean, I don't know how many of you have gone through the lore, not the story, the lore of the world, but I mean, this is still after an Okar colonial conflict happened in the demilitarized zone. So the colonials are not supposed to have any access here in this area. The Okar, the police force, essentially maintaining the order. But it's been a while since the events of EVERSPACE 1, maybe not that long, and definitely things have changed around a bit. So I'm sure that you'll be encountering an assortment, excuse me, an assortment of various enemies and definitely various sizes of ships, for sure. Would be nice to improve overall ship design by adding more organic ships and flows. Oh man, we're going to show some more ships down the line today. Will there be player ships with AI-controlled gun turrets? We are looking into gun turrets. that would probably be on the heavy type ships, of course. So that's also something that will be coming in time. Just not something we're able to show now. But rest assured, we have huge gunship fans out there from EVERSPACE 1, and we want to please you greatly. In fact, that's why I'm going to be showing you some details here in a little bit. Let's see. I'd like to see a bonus ship design based on Battlestar Galactica's Colonial Viper. Oh, man. Have you seen the vlog? Have you seen the vlog yet? Because you need to watch the vlog. Oh, my goodness. All right, I'm still going through more questions. You guys are pounding it. I love it. I'm going to answer just a couple more, and then we're going to dive right back in again. If I miss your question, don't worry. Just ask it again whenever we go into another question segment, and it'll be all good. I promise you guys. What exactly is the game about? The HUD looks so familiar somehow. Kipra97 from Twitch. The game is about developing yourself as a person, building relationships, and finding your purpose, really. EVERSPACE 1 was about figuring out who you are, and EVERSPACE 2, you're a clone on the run. This was revealed in our first vlog, talking a little bit about the story, and things are a little bit different now that you are outside of the core loop of the respawn cloning process. So instead of having infinite lives, now you really have to figure out what you want to be instead of who you are in just this endless forever. But there will be more information down the line from that. Let's see, I'm going to answer one more question. Did you see the VR question? No, I did not. Where was the VR question? If the question's just kind of like a general, will there be VR? I'll just kind of give the general response. And that we took a lot of feedback from EVERSPACE 1. The VR experience there was, I think a good way of putting it is that it was highly criticized, which was great for us because we soaked in a lot of that solid feedback from the community. So thank you for your very intentional thoughts on how we did. And from that point, moving into EVERSPACE 2, if we do approach a VR experience, it's going to be a separate application from the main game. By doing that, we can really focus in on all of those settings and all of those sweet perks that are unlocked and capable for a VR experience to make it the best it can possibly be, instead of tacking it on as an additional feature to the base game. So there's still a lot more to decide internally regarding VR support, so fingers crossed. But I cannot guarantee anything at this point in time. So, all right, so that's going to be all I'm going to answer for the moment. Hold on to your questions. Let's look at a little bit more gameplay. Next, I want to show Superlight Travel, and we're going to look at this beautiful planet in the background first. And we are going to hit the jump drive. So as you can see, this planet's getting a lot bigger, because we are now moving in the actual space of the solar system. So you can see as I'm looking behind me, that planet's getting a lot smaller as I'm zooming away from it. Right here, this is the space we are flying around in now. Anywhere and everywhere we can go. Well, not entirely because it's a demonstration, but you get what I'm saying. So what we're going to do is we're going to fly all the way over to this star. Right here. And we can do so in a number of ways. We can just manually fly over there ourselves, or we can lock on, freehand it, perfectly fine. And we can also hold down the R button. That would skip our transport completely, so we wouldn't even have to wait. So if you are impatient and you just want to get into that fast-paced arcade action, you can do that. But the reason why I didn't is because sometimes other stuff pops up, like this unknown signal, which I'm going to travel to. Oh! And we also got intercepted. So we're going to try and avoid this interception because I really want to go to that unknown signal. Perfect. Escape was successful. Now let's head to that unknown signal and see what's going on here. I see some debris from some sort of combat, maybe? But more importantly, loot. Gladly take some credits. Mining equipment and inertial dampeners. Alright. and a couple of outlaw to boot. So we're going to go ahead and turn on our cruise drive to get over to them just a little bit faster and take on a new enemy type, the Outlaw Weber drone. Hopefully if we can get a nice shot. It's kind of a small target. Perfect. So that guy was actually providing armor to all of his buddies nearby, but by taking them out, their armor's gone. So we can take them much more easily. You know what? Let's just disable this guy, make him an easy target. Nice. This large asteroid looks like it might have something to do with us being here because of that unknown signal. So we're just going to look around for a second. Oh yeah, there's a lot of resources here. We won't spend too much time on here, but just kind of showing you, you're going to be able to find a lot of sites that are going to be ripe for the picking with resources. Maybe you'll have a debris field right after combat. Maybe you'll find a creature in space. Or creatures. There's a lot that could happen if you pick up an unknown signal. Alright. I'm not seeing too much more on this large asteroid. Maybe there's a way to get inside of it, but maybe that'll be for another stream. For now, we'll take the rest of this copper deposit and then we'll fly over to that star. So the game is open universe. I wouldn't call it a universe. That's a little bit too expansive for us, for our vision. But what we do have, is we have multiple solar systems. And remember, each one of these locations that you see here, each one of these points, aside from that unknown signals and various things that can occur, those are randomized. But these dots, those are permanent, fixed, handcrafted locations. They are persistent locations. Each one of these little dots, okay? We got ourselves a lot of work ahead of us to produce all of these locations so each feels dynamic and different and offering various challenges for you as you're navigating these multiple solar systems. So no, we are not making it a super massive universe because that would mean we'd have to do like a lot of randomization to keep things fresh, and we know that it probably wouldn't. It wouldn't be what we were aiming for. So this is the focus. Nice and contained. A good question. Does the hyperdrive consume any kind of enemy energy you have to recover? As of right now, no. But things could change. Let's head to the star. Oh. Whew. Alright, I'm just going to hold R and we're just going to get there immediately. Boom. Here we are. And we've got this little scientist guy here. He's going to talk to us about a mission. While he's talking, I'm going to plug in a controller and show you just a little bit about how the UI changes depending on your way of playing. Because what we really wanted to do here is optimize the UI so that if you are using a controller, watch the lower left and lower right here. When I activate the controller, you'll see that immediately things have started looking a little bit differently. Whoops, sorry about that. Except I'm not sorry. You'll understand why in just a moment. But now we have full access to our devices in the lower left corner, and right behind me, right back there, you'll see we have full access to all of our consumables with just a very few button presses. If you hold X, you'll see that the elements in the lower left, they actually expand a little bit, and we have an indicator right in the middle of the screen where if we push a button according to that direction, you'll immediately use it. This is effectively multiplied how many times we can use that button for various things, giving you more space and more control over how you're navigating EVERSPACE 2 using a controller. Same thing with the consumables behind me. If you hold B, then we also have all of these indicators that show you exactly how to do those things as well. Now, I'm a mouse and keyboard gamer myself. It's honestly what I prefer, and it's honestly what I recommend for most players. But if you are a console gamer and you do love your controllers, well, rest assured, we're looking out for you too. All right, so this scientist guy, he said, hey, I need you to go look for some of these solar panels and turn them on so that we can do research on this star nearby. Okay. So let's go find some of them and turn them towards the star. There's one. It's giving us some insight into the star. He says, isn't that sun amazing? That muted blue glow is quite unique in the Beltigrades. You know, maybe. Solar panel number 2. Just one more. We're just receiving our first data package. Before we go to the other one, I want to look at this right here. This is an uphill slope, and it's a little racetrack for you. This is a pretty simplified racetrack, but I'm sure that will be a lot more creative ways for you to be challenged by navigating the game space to receive various rewards. And maybe even challenge an opponent or two, an AI, in like a death race format. Who knows? We've got a lot of opportunities there before us. So this G&B fighter's taking on some outlaw scouts. Let's just help him out. Shouldn't take too long. Our pulse laser is pretty strong, so I'm just going to keep using it for these close-range encounters. After all, it's not too bad with its kinetic damage output. We could, of course, find better, but we'll see what we find eventually. Alright, let's head over to this last location. Ooh, looks like some minefields. Gotta be a little careful getting close over here. Alright, that's the last one. We'll see what these guys say. I'll check over some of your questions. Basically, the scientist is saying, this star sucks, so we've already left, and thanks for doing basically nothing for us since it's not going to prove useful. But hey, we'll pay you the same amount that we give test subjects. So that's something, which ends up being 80 credits. That's it. Yikes. I'm sure it would be great to encounter these individuals again in the future. Let's see what's over here at this mining station and look a little bit about how we interact with various stations and whatnot. Here we are. So as we look inside of this base, we'll see that we have a lot of... Oh, this is fun. A sticky turret. I'm actually going to buy these. This should be fun to showcase. That'll be a lot of fun. Wait, I thought I bought all 3. That's fine. It's a prototype. We're working out the kinks. We got plenty of time to fix things. Alright. Gonna sell a lot of this stuff because we don't need it. A lot of commodities. These various commodities, by the way, are going to be much more sought after depending on the faction and the location of the base or the station or whatever that you find. So you'll have a desire to hold on to certain equipment and maybe not a desire to hold on to other things based on where you're at and what you're trying to accomplish for your task. For now, I'm just selling it all to get more credits, really. Let's see, is there anything of meaningful value to purchase? No, not really. I got those sticky turrets and that's going to be a lot of fun. But otherwise, we would be able to pick up missions like off of job boards here. Obviously, we haven't plugged it into the demo yet, but rest assured, this is a unique way that you'll be able to interact with the faction of that base or in the location and do various meaningful tasks. It's not going to just be, okay, you have to hunt down this number of fighters and blah, blah, blah. Like, we want to really challenge you guys with thoughtful side missions to your liking. So some other concepts and ideas that we have kind of floating about would also be doing some type of like reconnaissance work. Maybe you have to slip inside of an outlaw base and extract valuable information without getting caught. Or maybe you have to, we heard it before in the stream, maybe it's a convoy protection mission, or maybe it's a race, or maybe it's some sort of illegal smuggling, or you have to save a person from an outlaw gang, or all these various things to keep things fresh and interesting. And it's not just go to point A, destroy the enemies, then return to us for your reward. So lots of different concepts and ideas are floating around. And it'll also be a lot of fun working with you guys through the course of development, seeing what your thoughts are, so that we can maybe even implement some of those very things that you would like to see. I think that's a lot of fun. I think that's a huge benefit of the Kickstarter, because you're not just like, a Kickstarter is not a pre-order, right? It's not, oh, I want all the bonuses before the game. No. You're actually helping make the game. Like, you are literally funding our ability to make the game. And through that, the benefits that you get is being a part of that process. It's an investment that you're making, and therefore your feedback through that investment, that's why it's so important to us and why we are taking our community so very seriously as we navigate this space and truly make this game not only what we desire it to be, but also what you want it to be. It's kind of a big deal. All right, let's go look at this debris field over here, and we'll see if we can find some more goods. Oh, I see the one question that people have been asking about recently. And I do need to address this one. So let's dive in. Let's talk about it. I saw the question that says, what happens if the Kickstarter fails? Does EVERSPACE development stop? All right. Let's talk about this. So, two things. First off, it is very common in a Kickstarter for it to be very, very high, very positive, very ramped up in the beginning, especially the first week, which it was for us, and then it dies down kind of in the middle. We're in that middle section right now. It was projected that this is how things were going to go. We're sitting in a pretty good spot, all right? So rest assured, if things do end up going sideways, the way that Kickstarter works is that you're putting money down saying, if this gets funded, if enough people are backing this, then you will accept my payment. If it does not get backed, you are out $0. We don't take anything. You keep everything. It just means that the Kickstarter fails. What does that mean for the future of Rockfish Games and EVERSPACE 2? Well, it means that all that delicious content and that community feedback that I was just talking about moments ago, that we would be able to like really mash up together with and make this the best game that it could possibly be along with you guys, that would be cut short. That would be the main thing that's just sliced in half. Instead, what would happen is we're going to have to use our own funding, which we do have enough of, but barely. And we would make the game ourselves with our vision in mind, with all of our concepts, push it out the door, basically as it is, without all of that rich additional content that we could do with that additional support from you guys. But the game would still exist, but it would be a very different experience. So that's kind of how things would go if the Kickstarter didn't make it. All of that being said, I don't want you guys to freak out and be like, oh my gosh, it's going sideways. This is the common trend for how a Kickstarter goes. Don't get too worried. We are doing our part to bring our voice out into the public letting people know that we have our Kickstarter going. If you are that concerned, and if you are a super supporter, and I know you guys are out there, just make sure that you're telling your circle of friends. Tell them about the game. Get them into these streams because I love engaging with you guys and answering any questions and concerns that you have. And obviously, we also show parts of development to you that you otherwise wouldn't get from not joining in these streams. We will actually show you some behind the scenes stuff here in this stream itself in just a little bit. In like 10 minutes, we're going to dive into a segment where I'm going to be able to show you some stuff. And I'm really excited to do that. So yeah, you guys do your part. We're going to do ours. And I know that we can champion this together. So don't be worried. It'll be good. Let's look at this part of this base. We have a power core right here that's just floating out in the area because all this stuff got busted up. Well, what's a power core for? Probably for a power socket, like this. Perfect. Now that this is opened up, we can loot the place. And we found an uncommon railgun. This railgun is completely better than the one that we had before. It does a little bit more kinetic and energy damage. Its energy consumption is just a wee bit higher, but it also has a 10% chance to have its energy damage bypass the armor completely. That's kind of a cool little trait. So we're going to go ahead and pop that on. And I also want to show this little element too. Watch the color of fire here. See how this one is green? Let's go back to the other one. This one's purple. So this shows you that the color of weapons can very easily change, as well as other modifiers and special effects. Of course, you want your legendary weapons to look truly legendary, don't you? So, yes. Alright, there's a couple more power cores floating about here. We're going to pop these into place, but I don't think there's really much more to loot from this base. A couple more containers. Pulse laser. I'll take it. And another railgun. My goodness, lots of railguns. Don't bump into those barrels. That would be bad. Alright, we're going to head back to this base, sell some stuff, and then we're going to cut into a new segment of the stream. Whoop, going a little bit too far. Perfect. Oh, woo! Now we're back in base. We're going to be able to sell all of these weapons for some more credits. It's just great. And now we are going to fly on out. Not that planet. I think there's a planet somewhere over here in this area that we're going to be going to. Yeah, all the way over there. We'll get going. See what you guys are saying. Are there escort missions? Absolutely will be escort missions. We might even encounter one here. They're the bane of mini space shooter. Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to do them, you can choose to completely ignore them. Unless it's in a campaign mission, because then you're going to have to. But there will be means to an end there. It's not just, it's not like, oh, you have to do this because everybody hates escort missions. No, it's going to be very intentional design, and we're making to look at fun, of course. Variety is the spice of life, but we also know that in an open world setting, you want to choose what you're doing. We're keeping that in mind. Here's another unknown signal. We're going to run in here, see what's going on, and moving forward. Are there some racing missions? Oh, I'm sure there will be. I'm sure there will be. Yeah, you saw the concept racetrack there. If you didn't, you just missed it. But yeah, I mean, we are going to have a lot of fun with being able to challenge the player, not only from a combat perspective, but also from a maneuverability perspective. I think that's a word. I hope it is. Boom. So if you are really good at dodging around things, then you're absolutely going to have some challenges that will delight in your ability to do so. I don't see anything in this area. We need more sensor strength in order to capitalize on the hidden things that were around here. So because we can't see anything, we're just going to keep going on. Yeah, don't let me forget about that sticky turret. I want to show that. Multiplayer co-op. We are a single-player company. We want the game to be a single-player experience. That is intentional by design. So everything is going to be balanced accordingly around a single player experience, and we want it to be very lavish. We want it to be very detailed, and we want it to be an incredible one at that. So, no multiplayer here. But good question. Alright, let's try to take this out as we leveled up to get more critical hit chance, more hit points, some other stuff that's already vanished. There we go. And more credits. Delicious. I do want to answer a couple more questions before we move into a new segment of the stream, so let's just dive in and answer some more. You guys have been great with your questions over on YouTube, on Twitch. Steam, you're quiet over there. If you've got questions, don't be shy. There's a link right down here. You click on that, and it will put me into a new window with the chat box. Use that chat box to talk. This stream is for you guys, so ask away. Tell me your concerns. We'll have a conversation about it. All right, let's see what I missed. Does the world of EVERSPACE have things like space whales flying around out there? There was a little bit of a teaser regarding a very large space critter in our concept art. You'll have to stay tuned, unfortunately. Let's see what else we missed. Can we customize our space station in some way? This is another fantastic question that Michael, can we answer that yet? I don't think we can answer that yet, unfortunately. But rest assured, you have a home base, and you want to store lots of ships in it, and maybe some companions you meet along the way, or stuff like that. So I'm sure that there's going to be something along those lines in time that we will be able to show you firsthand. As of right now, let's focus more on the ships, and we'll save that one for another time, all right? Is that all right? I hope that's okay. Let's see. What happens if you end up with Diablo 3 instead of Diablo 2? Lol. You. Will space hazards be returning like the solar storms? Caden, great question. Also, hello. Glad to see that you are sneaking in there. So yeah, we absolutely want to have various space hazards. Is my command for... No, it's not. So essentially, you have a lot of different locations out in space that you're going to be navigating, and surely you're going to have, like, you know, a space storm or plasma fields of varying capacities that you'll have to navigate through in order to get to that specific base or through that trade lane, or, you know, whatever that you're navigating. You'll definitely have to deal with the vastness of space and what it's kicking back out towards you, and its cruelty, if you will. Let's see what else we got. I think he's reading Steam and Twitch chat. Yeah, no, I'm reading a lot of chats. But rest assured, I'm trying to get through your questions. If I miss it, just be patient. It's cool. I'm not ignoring you, because clearly if I was ignoring you, then I wouldn't be answering any questions. So it's all good. We're getting there. Will there be a max player level? It's a single player game, so 1? Is that what the question is? If you're more asking about if there's like multiple players that can run around, no, it's a single player game. So, VR question from Talon. Considering support for the Move controllers to interact with the cockpit instead of blind gamepad, mouse, keyboard. I know that we are looking into a lot of factors with VR if we go in that direction. So, a lot of that's up in the air. I can't really say right now, unfortunately. There's too much out there that just isn't available to respond with. But rest assured, we're going to be looking into a lot of different options because we want to do VR correctly if we go into the VR experience. Will there be an autopilot mode? There is a little bit of an autopilot mode regarding fast traveling, but as far as combat itself, it's going to be reliant on your skill and your alignment of aiming up the mouse. There may be some factors to adjust the auto aim, however, so look forward to a lot of accessibility options through the menus. I know that that's something that can be a little bit of a deterrent for some people to play, especially EVERSPACE 1. It's a challenging game, but because EVERSPACE 2 is an open world RPG setting, we're hoping that along just the genre change itself, but also coupling together some more accessibility options, that it's going to feel a lot more fluid and a lot more enjoyable, since you have a lot more time to navigate the space, learn the controls, without being punished too quickly. But a great question. Will there be able to pilot OCAR ships? I mean, today is the day to talk about ships. As of right now, our focus is primarily on customizing your own ship. It could be possible down the line to add OCAR parts. It's not something that we have looked into as of yet. But, you know, if funding goes well and we're having fun with things and we get enough of the community behind it, it's a possibility. We could probably manage something like that. We just also have to make sure it makes sense within the lore of EVERSPACE. And as things are, since the OCAR are the police faction, they maintain the demilitarized zone that you see here. It could make a lot of sense or not a lot of sense to incorporate those types of components onto your ship. Oh, the level cap, not the max number of players. Okay, that's probably fair. Level cap's something we have to balance. That's too early to say. Too early to say. Like right now, I'm level 3 with this much experience. These numbers are going to change dramatically over the course of 2 years. So, 50, 100, 200, 5,000. I mean, I could give you a number, but it doesn't really mean anything. So, we have to figure out what's going to be best for the game and what makes sense for the itemization, especially, as well as the perks, abilities, all of those different types of things. Way too many factors to say for sure. Will there still be ship class exclusive gear? Yes. Absolutely. Can you make drone behavior more adequate? Because it's very frustrating when Sensor Drone, for example, flies right into enemies while it doesn't have any weapons. AI is absolutely getting revamped, moving into EVERSPACE 2 for a lot more dynamic functionality of enemies, as well as smarter AI to avoid silly shenanigans. So that's good. Will there be crafting in EVERSPACE 2? More information about crafting will come in the future, but you probably did notice that we've been picking up various crafting components, because I know that you have eyes like a hawk, so good on you for picking that up, but that is a topic for another day. Let's see. Will there be some sort of chase? I mean, some sort of head bounty or so. Kipra, you're on the run. Of course there will be chases. But we'll have to reveal more on that when more of the story comes out at later points. All right, let's go ahead and jump over to some fun stuff, right? We want to see some cool stuff. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of jumping over. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure that I'm pulling up all the great stuff that you guys want to see. I know you want to see it. I know you want to see it. So we're going to start things off. Let me just get things set up here for you. One moment, just organizing my windows so that you guys can see all of the wonderful things. And go. All right, so over here we now have our little news site for you guys to see. Oh, we need to maximize this puppy. There we go. So we're going to be talking a little bit about ships today through the course of the stream. And what you guys saw in the vlog, actually, let's start with the vlog, shall we? Does that make sense? I think that makes sense to do. Let me actually pull up the vlog first. Let's focus on the vlog first. Let's watch the vlog. So any of you guys who have missed the vlog, you'll know what we are doing, what we've been talking about, just to bring everybody in the loop, because it's important. So 1 second as I pull this up. Don't mind the black screen. Whoop! Hey! Hey! This is just a fierce little video. Okay, let's get back into this. Alright, this is the vlog that you guys maybe have missed.
Hello Space Pilots! Today we'll take a look at the player ships in EVERSPACE 2. In the predecessor we had 3 ships and a 4th one that came with the Encounters expansion. However, being able to fly lots of different ships was high up on your wishlist for our next game. So now we have much grander plans for EVERSPACE 2.
A modular concept enables us to have countless ships with lots of variation. Designs will usually suffer from this approach, but we've taken great care that our ship designs are slick and the modular setup is not too obvious. Each ship class follows certain design rules, which makes them instantly recognizable. The Sentinel, for example, always has forward swept wings, while the Interceptor has delta wings and the Assault Fighter upper and lower wings. The modular concept is also ideal for offering lots of customization. It's easy to change cockpits, bodies, engine parts, wings, colors and decals.
Yeah.
Cockpit interiors will also come in different variations. We've just started working on these, so what you see is far from finished. In order to make higher level ships look more powerful and advanced, we're also using different versions of the same type of module. Ships will not only be different in look, but also from a gameplay perspective. They will vary in stats like handling, speed and hit points. Each class will come with a set of special devices, which work like skills in an RPG. In addition to medium ship classes, we will also have light and heavy fighters. These are far from done, but let's have a sneak peek at some of the very early blockouts. Light fighters will be small and agile ships that are ideal for stealthy recon missions and dodging enemy fire. Heavy fighters will be slow but sturdy and have the most firepower. They can dispose of enemies quickly and take quite the punch.
I think our team did a fantastic job here, and now we can have tons of gorgeous player ships in EVERSPACE 2. Thanks for watching, see you in space.
Thanks, Michael. Excellent. All right. So, that's exciting. We are showing off a lot of the modular system of how we are creating so many variations of ships here. This is really important to us because this is allowing you guys to have that full control over the ships that you desire. It's based on the feedback that we got from EVERSPACE 1, we were really happy with how each of the various ships had a very unique play style. Everybody in our Discord especially is fighting over what the best ship is. But in actuality, the best ship is the one that you utilize in the way that makes the most sense. The gunship, for example, popular choice by Veritas, for example, he loves it because of how bulky it is, because of how much sheer firepower it can just dish out, launching several drones and having that turret on top of it. Whereas personally, I'm a huge scout fan. I love the light fighters running circles around my foes and just completely crushing them without them even understanding where they're getting shot from. But again, it comes down to how you're approaching the game space. And here in EVERSPACE 2, that is no different. We have these variations of ships not because of any other reason, but to give you opportunities for what you're trying to do. So let's start looking at some of these different ships, shall we? So this one right here, I've pulled up the Assault Fighter. This is new to EVERSPACE 2. You saw this, some of these you have seen from the vlog, but there's a couple here that I'm going to show you that haven't actually been seen. And so I'm really excited to be covering some of these elements with you. But this is the first tier of the Assault Fighter. You can see in the lower left corner, those are the 3 different colors and how it's changing things up. You also see a logo. I know that we had a question a while back about customizing logos, and we also see a title right there. So we see Coalition and we see a Coalition logo. If you guys are familiar with the streamer Carnage, he is a huge supporter of EVERSPACE 1 and 2. In fact, he gave us a generous donation to make sure the game does reach a powerful game state. And as such, we love the guy. So, it's kind of an ode to him. So, as you can see here, we have these dual, X-Wing foils kind of sort of thing with all of the Assault Fighters that's consistent for this particular subclass of the medium-styled ships. If it has these X-Wing styled wings on it, that tells you it's an assault fighter. So just go ahead and oogle at that for a little bit. And I'm just going to look at some of your guys' questions and what you are all talking about very briefly before we move to the next part of the assault fighters. I'm having a great time. I hope you guys are as well. This is fun. This is a lot of fun with you guys. Can you change the color of the engines from, for example, red to purple? We love customization. I think that would be great. I think the team does too. It's a great question. Let's see. Looking at VR, how likely do you see the possibility to have this as a stretch goal? Not sure. That's a good question, actually. I might have to throw that one back at Michael. Michael, if you are still in the stream, if you could jump over to YouTube. Hendrik Boras has a great question. Looking at VR, how likely do you see the possibility to have this as a stretch goal? Legitimately, I'm not sure, but I'm sure Michael will have more information. Can you change the color of the... yeah, we already got that one. Since the armor percentage has been dropping, does it eventually break and be gone if destroyed, or is it just deactivated when destroyed and can be repaired? It can be repaired. It's fine. So will there be light and heavy assault ship? Well, the assault fighter, you can customize it to where it's going to have like a heavier frame versus a lighter frame to change its maneuverability, but it's always going to be an assault fighter. But you can also change out to a different class so that you can have a very light frame as your overarching starting point and build something that's like beefy on the light frame. Or you could get a heavy frame and build like very modestly on that. And a lot of combinations in between. You could go super light, super heavy, crazy mixes galore. This is just one that you see here right behind me. Can we use our own logo on all our ships? That is a question that I know we are going to be very careful and logo selections and naming conventions on the type of ships. So there's going to be a bit more information about that in the future. I would say as of right now, there's a possibility for it, but there is absolutely not a guarantee. So that will have to come in time. I'm pretty sure that we would rather have a selection of logos that you can choose from and maybe customize a little bit, as opposed to be able to like import your own logo, for example. Let's see what else people have been asking about as I change over to a new image, because we want to see more images, right? Let's look at this one. Oh wait, I didn't want to... Wait, how do I... There we go. No, hang on. Let me do this again. There we go. That's better. So this is a Tier 2 Sentinel. This is actually not a Sentinel. I think this is mislabeled. That's kind of funny. But because we see the wings, we have the double wings, this is actually still an assault fighter. So I'm glad that you can't actually see Sentinel behind me. Just ignore that. This is an assault fighter. Another version of that. Just have that nice, beautiful white, blue, black stylization there. As you can see, a lot of variety, a lot of variation in how you're customizing this. Again, this is the same ship we saw before. It just looks a lot different. The exact same ship. Assault fighter looks awesome, especially from the back. Please take it out of the Agner in this stream. Oh my gosh. Or the hangar. I could probably do that. Sentinel is much more of a tech ship than a stealth scout. It's true. What types of heavy and light ships will there be? You already have 3 types of medium. Oh yeah. So we'll show off a little bit of the light and the heavy here in just a moment. This is good. Michael, thank you so much for all of your responses there. Over on YouTube. Alright, so let's keep looking through these bad boys. We're going to get to another assault fighter. If it opens. Oh, whoops. That's fine. I accidentally moved it out of the folder. Are you going to load? Come on. There we go. So this is also an assault fighter. This is Tier 4. So wings are far more, got that oomph to it. See all those pretty little details. I'm a big fan of the cockpit design myself. This is something that's familiar, reminiscent of EVERSPACE 1, where we had on the Interceptor, especially in earlier builds. I quite like it. Veritas says hot. Man, we're not even into the heavy fighters yet, man. Just wait, I've got some more stuff to show you. It's going to be fun. Assault is for firepower, Sentinel is for ability power, and the Interceptor, or the little one, is for annoying enemies. Now, again, this is just within the medium class, right? A Sentinel focuses more on abilities, yes. An Interceptor focuses more on mobility, and the this one, oh my gosh, blanking on the name, Assault Fighter, there we go. The Assault Fighter focuses more on firepower. So you have a little bit of a mix between your ranges within the medium class that you can diversify accordingly based on the subclass you choose. But that doesn't mean you can't even mix and match beyond that. You could have a Sentinel be a very powerful weapon-inducing or weapon-damaging vessel if you find the right items and you build your build accordingly to that particular style. But then it also has nice abilities to boot. It's all about what you want to make. That's why we're giving you so many creative options as you develop your ship in your experience. All right, so let's look at another one. Let me just move this image back where it came from. All right. Next, we're going to look at more Interceptor designs. So this is a Tier 1 Interceptor. Oh man, I really like this one. I'm a bigger fan of the lighter style ships, but this is a medium ship. And you can tell because it just has the straight delta wings approach, which all the Interceptors have. It's a common trait throughout. And here it's kind of like a fighter jet. So you're seeing a lot of the details, especially like on the front here, and it's kind of like optimized for in-atmo combat, right? Glad that we're doing that in EVERSPACE 2. Oh my gosh, so that's going to be a lot of fun. But all the engines and stuff, like all these different parts, the engines, the wings, the cockpit itself, guys, I'm not showing you like a ship that you can get, okay? Well, I kind of am. You could customize it to look like this, but you can like take the engines here and the cockpit here, but say you don't like these wings and say, you know what? I want these wings with that same cockpit and that same engines from the other ones. You can do that. You can do that. Like you can take the engines you like, the cockpit you like, and the wings you like and mash them together to make your ship. Okay? There's a lot of flexibility here in the customization of your playable ship. So here we see, like, again, this is another Interceptor. This is a Tier 2. Kind of with the desert look. I actually quite like that. But you have, like, the holes in the wings. You can, like, put your finger in it. It's great. Yeah. Engines are a lot more clean on this one. I actually prefer these engines myself. I would want to take something like this and apply it to a different cockpit as well. Veritas says, I like this one a lot. It's great. It's good. I'm going to keep moving through. Just going to keep popping them open. Here's another one. This is a Tier 3. This actually kind of has a similar look and feel to the last one, except not at all if you take a closer look, right? We have similar colors, and maybe it's like, oh, that's why it's so similar. But you look at those engines. Look at that spoiler, right? I mean, look at the entire shape of the front of this ship and how it's like bulked up, right? And then the wings kind of come down underneath it. It's very different, yet it's the exact same ship. Very likely has different stats associated with it, though, based on the items that have been found and whatnot. But here, let's look at one more. This is a Tier 4 Interceptor. And we can see here as well, like, the wings, they're even expanding even larger, just right here. Look at that. Just going up and down. That big bulky middle has become even bulkier. The wings have been extended. Those engines, actually, they're the exact same engines from the last ship. Those are the exact same engines from the last one we looked at. Let's look at these in comparison. Can I do that? Can I? Let's see. Where's the? Is that the last one? No, that's not the last one. Hang on a second. I want to find the last one. Here we go. So you can actually see the engines are identical on both of these ships. They're identical. In fact, the cockpits are identical too. The only thing that's different between these two are the wings. But look how different they seem. Look how different they seem. Same engines, same cockpit, different wings, and that's how different they look. Obviously different colors as well. So this is the type of customization that you're going to have whenever EVERSPACE 2 eventually releases. Now, I want to show one more thing that wasn't revealed. I think this one's a lot of fun. This one's really cool. So Andy actually shared this with me earlier today. So Andy, if you're watching, thank you so much for the share. Michael gave me permission to show you guys. You are about to see some blockouts of the gunship, okay? This is the first time these are ever even being shown. They were done today, okay? So this is some of the way that your wings and your various gunships are going to look and how they're going to upgrade over time. So as you can see here, we have I think there was somebody, I can't remember who, somebody in the Discord was like, I want to fly a block. Well, hey, you know what? Here you go. This is about the closest thing to a block you can fly. Oh my gosh. Crisis 2080 actually says, can you get neon colors for the ships? I know that it would be really cool to have colors that aren't just a static color, but actually have a textural quality to them. So know that your voice is heard. I like the idea of neon colors myself. So we'll have to see what we end up doing through development, but I think that would be awesome. So as you can see here, the progression of this gunship, it's pretty bulky, but you also see the sides, they open up, and there's the missile turrets on the sides, right? It shoots multiple missiles at once. It's not just firing one missile at a time. You actually saw that in the vlog. And also something else you saw in the vlog, just want to point this out, is that normally you only have a single primary weapon on your ship in 2 slots. So you can only use one primary weapon at a time. Go back and watch vlog number 2 again. Maybe you'll see that there's actually 4 primary weapons on the front of a gunship. Who knows what that could mean? We've got options ahead of us. Perfect. But yeah, you also see another really important thing to note is that there's this circle on the back of the gunship. You see that? You see that circle right there? The gunship was notorious in EVERSPACE 1 for packing a punch through its turret. Kind of looks like a turret slot to me. Just pointing that out. Bingo dingo. All right, let's look at the next gunship slot. Again, just blockouts. A lot can change through these, but I'm really excited to show you these. So this one, it's going a little bit more up in comparison. So definitely still has the weight of the gunship itself, but utilizing these elements. Oh man, you can even tell that these were done today. Oh my gosh, guys, we are rushing things out the door, making sure it's nice and polished. You're seeing some really early stuff here. This is really exciting to be able to show you. So lots of variations in those wings, and you can even see that the cockpit itself, the cockpit's actually exactly the same as it was from the previous gunship. It's exactly the same from the previous gunship. Oh my gosh, that's great. Could we get some material normal mapping textures in addition to the colors? Oh yeah, that's something that we are considering. Yeah. We'll keep you posted. We've got a lot of time. Let's see, am I missing anything? Oh my gosh, I'm missing questions. Oh, you guys are so excited over on Twitch. Oh, I'm glad that you guys are liking what you're seeing. Looks like it could fold the side wings down and then land on it. Ooh. Yeah, that could be a lot of fun. What does a tier 3, and tier 4? Oh, so the tiers represent kind of the tiers are kind of like rarities, if you will. Tiers in EVERSPACE 1 represented rarities, but they were never really expressed. So, for example, a pulse laser is a tier 1 weapon, whereas a flat cannon, I think, is a tier 3. So, or maybe it's just a tier 2. But regardless, how common it is to find is based on those tiers. Now here, the tiers kind of represent progression for your style and possibly for your stats. We are also very much looking into the ability to customize your appearance only while not modifying your stats, so you can get the exact look and feel that you want for your ship without touching anything else. So there's a lot of opportunity for that down the line as well. But for all intents and purposes, the tiers represent development, harder to find, or progression of a specific style that you have found. Great question. Let's see. Looking through more. Flying bricks. Oh my gosh. Why not with neon colors also do some cameo textures? Yep, we already talked about that. It's possible. I mean, the reason why, hopefully you guys understand, like, you are looking at blockouts right here. Like, this is a very much work in progress before you. So there's a lot that we can do from this point. Some of you guys might be thinking, oh, well, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? We never said we're not. It's possible that we could. So that's why it's so imperative that you join up in the Kickstarter and help us understand what's going to make this way better. What's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, we are pretty strong. We're pretty strong-willed. We have a lot of really powerful ideas at the team, but ultimately we know it's our community that's going to help us make this over the top and the best it can possibly be. So I love how you're all asking these questions and you're all pouring out what you really want to see. That's great. This is super great. I love this so much. Flat cannon. Flat cannon, yes. All right, let's look at another one. Oh, look at this. Now we kind of got more wing sort of structures going on here. And all of these, this looks like one subclass of the gunship. All of these wings has looked like one subclass of the gunship to me. Pretty sure that it has been. So, like, before we looked at the assault fighter only, then we looked at the interceptor only. This is kind of like looking at the gunship only. There could be other types of heavy fighters out there that we are still working on. So if you don't like the appeal and the look of these gunships, don't you worry about that too much, because there's a lot more coming. I quite like these. This feels more like that super bulky, I'm going to destroy you with a barrage of missiles and turrets and weapons to me. Quite a fan. And we are going to dive right into the next one. Well, some of the ship parts, for example, wings, modify the amount of different slots available. I'm sure that there will be a lot of different modifiers to a lot of different pieces and parts. But in addition to all of that, we will absolutely make sure that we provide the ability to get the look and feel that you want without touching your slots as well. So like if you find a wing that just kind of sucks, but then you find wings that are really awesome, but they look silly to you, we will find a way to where you can take the stats of the ones that's really awesome, but then have the look of the wings that you prefer, even though the stats on those wings wasn't as good. So we'll have those features, that functionality down the line if we can muster it. So yeah, don't worry about that too much. And we'll look at this last one here, and then I've got one more thing to show you after this one. Oh, ooh, look at this. This is actually the first time I'm looking at these two, folks. That's how fresh and new these images are. So this is not only exciting for you guys, but this is also exciting for me to share. So this is good stuff. Wow. Yeah, I really like how there's like these giant missile pod looking things on the side of this one, and they like it doubles, and then you can see the growth from tier 1 to tier 4. I know that we had that question about the tiers, where it's like the same style of wing, but it becomes more advanced and it becomes more detailed through the progress of those 4 tiers. And also, guys, I want you to know that if you are a part of the Discord, by the way, I'm going to be plugging in all of like the reveals and stuff from these streams into the Discord somewhere, so that you guys will have access to them. So yeah, if you're not a part of the Discord yet, absolutely join us. Discord.gg/rockfishgames. That's where our community hangs out, has a lot of good times. It is such a fun time. It really is. I make fun of I engage with a lot of people. Share memes. It's good. Black Coffee Rider, how's it going? Is there going to be space in this game? Right. As an ambassador, do you find yourself involved in the Ukraine? Goodness gravy. Goodness gravy. You guys and your ridiculous questions. You guys. I love you all dearly. We couldn't do this without you, so thank you. Looks like something out of an anime show, does it? You know, maybe it kind of does. I can kind of see that. But rest assured, the detail and the polish to these are going to have that realistic stylization that we apply to all of our ship models. So in time, we'll be able to show you more of how it may have that appeal to you. Maybe we'll have like a comic book skin color that allows you to make it look like it's based out of an anime or a comic book or, you know, whatever. That's possible down the line. Would you guys like to see that? If it is, make sure your voice is loud on Twitter and Twitch and Discord and Reddit and Facebook and wherever else we're located, because it's important to us and we want to make great options. Good stuff. All right, now this last one I want to show you, we're gonna look at some fine little details, because oh my goodness, there's a lot on this. So this is actually a showcase of all of the medium fighters that we currently have regarding their wings. This is not all of your cockpits. This is not all of your engines. This is just wings alone, okay? So we have tier 1s, we have tier 2s, tier 3s, and tier 4s of all of these variations. And you'll see on that far left in that box, you have 16 various wing options just for the assault fighter alone. Those are all unique wings for the assault fighter. Then in the interceptor, you have another 16, and finally over here on the side, we have another 16 for the sentinel. Can I zoom in? Oh yeah. How much control do I have zooming in? Oh my gosh, it's kind of tricky. Oh yeah, so we can get pretty up close and personal here. You can see just like how basic the forms are, and how crazy different and advanced they can start getting. Like that's just the beginning, but then you get like stuff like this. Oh, that one hasn't actually been seen yet, I don't think. So you can see really how much variation and options you're going to have to choose from with the various ships. And like this one, there's the interceptor. Lots of different ways. And you can see like there's a special engine that's on these, right, with the same cockpit. Like the engines and the cockpits, they're exactly the same, but the wings, those are what's different. All these are just the wings. And like look at these sentinel parts. We actually seen both of these actually in the demo itself. So lots and lots and lots of customization. And again, this is just wings alone. There'd be another entire page for this for cockpits, and another entire page for this for engines. Well, that might be a little bit of an over-exaggeration, but rest assured, you're going to have plenty of different ways to mix and match and couple things together. This is just the mediums. There's lights and heavies coming, as I showed you. Oh my gosh, so much. I love playing with the warship, gunship, I'm assuming, but the fact that it has no shield really makes me uncomfortable with it. Is this going to change in EVERSPACE 2? We are looking at a lot of different ways to rebalance various ships and whatnot. I would say be daring with the gunship, though. It's actually quite a beast, and it has a front shield generator that's exclusive to it, so even though it doesn't have shields, it can have a temporary invulnerable shield for a duration. And it can make things go a long ways. Couple that together with the intense firepower that it has, you only need a shield for a couple moments because your enemies are going to die then. So think about different strategies you got with that. Well, some of the ship parts, for example, wings, modify the amount of different slots. Oh, we answered that one already. Sorry. Excellent. All right, now I'm diving back over to Twitter real quick. I just want to make sure that I'm getting all of your wonderful questions answered. There will be many ships in your base, or just one that you can reassemble. We'll have a lot of different slots. We'll have a lot of different slots so you can customize unique ships to your liking. Will it be like BattleTech in regards of the configuration with slot options and certain things only fitting into certain slots? Yeah, probably yes. Are we still going to get a hard difficulty mode, perhaps with special content? For me, this was the only right mode to play. Oh my gosh, we're best friends. I love you. Thank you so much, Genoxer. We will absolutely have some challenging experiences to be had in EVERSPACE 2. With a leveling system, we might even have to where certain locations are higher level than what you are. So if you're looking for a challenge, you can go find one. But we'll have a lot more information regarding the leveling system, progression systems, and how you can be challenged. I know that we're also looking at some powerful late game incentives, like after you've reached the max level, say if it's 20 or 50 or whatever examples I mentioned earlier in the stream. Lots of different ways to challenge yourself, lots of different ways to continue hunting down loot and bettering your ship and all of those things. So good. Let's see. Does each engine need its unique fuel from each place? Probably not going to make it that complicated. I mean, as an arcadey space shooter, we want things to be straightforward. You can dive into the action and just do good stuff. Now, I'm sure some of you have been looking down at this little scroll thing. And you're like, oh, hey, there's a weekly recap, and I'm seeing some of these things he's talking about, but I don't see everything. I wanted to throw one more thing at you guys, just because it's really freaking cool. And that is a video made by LOL Hype, one of our local contributors in our community, and that is his fan-made video. There we go. That he's provided for us. So let me dive over and grab that video real quick for you guys, and we're gonna watch it together just because it's a lot of freaking fun. He did such a great job with editing it. So just pull this up 1 second. I guess this is a good time to talk about the different locations you can go to show your support. Join our Discord, get into Twitter, get into the Kickstarter itself. Your support goes such a long ways to make this game happen, to do everything that we are setting out to do with it. So the more that you are able to contribute, the greater chances we have of making what our vision is a reality. So please help us out to do so many awesome things. Man, it sounds like I'm begging. I don't mean to beg. I'm not begging. I'm just excited. All right. So, we are going to jump back over here. We're going to watch this together. This is a fan-made video from LOL Hype about EVERSPACE 1. He calls it EVERSCAPES. Sit back, enjoy. Let's watch. Boom. Wasn't that awesome? Oh my gosh. So, LOL hype. Well done. Making EVERSPACE 1 look so clean and awesome. He was actually sharing some of the tools that he uses in order to do these editing takes. All of that is filmed at 4K resolution at 60 frames per second. Oh my gosh. Gorgeous work, sir. Thank you so much for your contribution. And by the way, if any of you guys out there really like taking photos of EVERSPACE 1, or maybe even like doodle, or maybe make a song devoted to our game, or anything like that, make sure that we know about it, because we would love to show it to the world on a stream like this, much like I'm doing for LOL Hype. This is stuff that we love to do, and we love that you loved it too, and it's a win-win for both of us. So, thanks again, LOL Hype. What an awesome stuff. What an awesome stuff? You know what I mean. It's amazing. So, thank you. Let's see. I think that about wraps it up for everything. Oh, wait, no, there's one more thing. The last thing is that we had a link to the story of Rockfish Games. So for those of you who are not familiar with Rockfish, if you're not familiar with like our origin story, Michael, who's in the, where's he at now? He's on Twitch right now. He's diving around everywhere. He is an absolute boss. He's also my boss, so if I said bad things, that wouldn't be good for me. But my point is that it's quite remarkable, truly, how things shifted from where he was at before with Galaxy on Fire 1 and 2, and how that having everything taken away from him was one of the best things that has happened for me, for Rockfish Games, for Michael, for Christian, and everybody in between. So definitely check in on that story. I think there's going to be a link dropped by somebody in chat because you're best friends with me. But you can find that. Wasn't PC Gamer? Oh goodness, I'm forgetting where that was located. Heck, I'll just pull open my personal Discord and find it. Oh, look at you guys! Look at you guys dropping this stuff. This is great. Let me find the link. I know it's somewhere. Let me just go to the Kickstarter update. Here we go. This is important. This is important. I passed it. In-depth interview. Here we are. MakingGames.biz. So this is actually the second part of it right here. The second part of it, but it talks about Michael and EVERSPACE 2 and the future of Rockfish Games after the whole encounters that he had with part 1 of the interview. So definitely make sure you go to makinggames.biz, read where we stem from, and then ask us more questions, because there's only so many questions that they can fit in here. Look at that man. Look at him. And now he has a beard because of you guys. Oh gosh. It's good stuff. It's great stuff. It's a great read as well. Highly encourage you guys to look it up if you want to know more. All right. Let's dive back into EVERSPACE 2. We have just a couple more minutes. We'll play one more segment, and then we'll finish off the stream with a couple more of your questions, okay? Sound good? But thank you so much for seeing all of this new information about ships and answering your questions regarding them. You guys have been awesome. Seriously. It's really great stuff. All right. So what are these? Oh, we have those ships. I'm going to just close all those. Perfect. So good. All right. Popping right back into the experience. Ah, awesome. Michael, also thanks for sharing the link on everywhere. You're awesome. Very good. Okay, so we last left off at the space station. We were going to do a mission there, but you know what? There was so much to talk about, so much to share. Oh, and I also forgot to adjust the sounds. RIP headphone users. Sorry about that. But we want to jump over to this jump gate and just show a really quick mini boss that you can have. And we'll also apply some sticky turrets. Thanks for the reminder, Veritas. So what we're going to do here is drop some sticky turrets. Let's see, can we actually put them? Let's see, let's hope it sticks. You know what? It's not gonna make it. Hang on, we gotta. Will this stick here? I don't know if it will. Nope, it's going to bounce off. Well, this guy's problematic. Here, let's throw it right here. I know it'll work here. Boom. Throw the sticky turret. Blunk! Look at that. We have our own turret right on this asteroid. Doing some dirty work for us. Let's do it again. And again. Yes! This asteroid is our base now. Oh man, those turrets are going to town. Sometimes it's kind of fun seeing a game when it's not been fully fleshed out and balanced, right? So we'll just hang out right here by the sticky turrets and we'll just watch this guy get wrecked. Now you will see that his sides open up. You see that yellow area? Those are actually weak points in the ship now. And those weak points will allow you to dish out some really serious heavy damage to him. But it only comes out whenever his armor goes away first. Man, he's like in a perfect position for this asteroid ambush. This is great. So here, I'll dive in here and just... Oh, they perfectly closed and I missed my shot. Okay. So next time it opens up, we'll just launch a shot in there. You'll see some tremendous damage. Watch his health. Oh, wow. Look at that. And we'll take him out with this shot. Boom. Various ships will have weak points that you can capitalize on. Man, those sticky turrets are really, really broken. I love it. So an assortment of different tools that you'll be able to utilize. And I don't think there's any way to like package these back up. Once they are stuck, they are permanently in place. But you did see that when you throw it in the air, you can actually pick it back up with your grapple and then throw it around wherever else you want to go. So lots of little fun tools like that. Let's go ahead and stop at this base. He's going to give us a mission. I don't know if we have time to complete it, but, you know, we'll see what happens. Oh, excuse me. Just cracking my neck as he's giving me some instruction here. Will EVERSPACE 2 run natively on Linux and Mac as well already in the demo alpha beta phases? Listen to asks. This is something that we are looking at options with. Currently, it's not running natively on Linux, but I know that we've had an outpour of Linux individuals say, like, we can't really provide feedback unless it does. We acknowledge that. If we have those opportunities, I can assure you, we will take them. As of right now, it's not running natively, but we are using Proton, which has it running on Linux. Obviously not the same, but we're just going to have to find out. We're just going to have to find out through the process. Otherwise, there's a much better chance that in early access will have those capabilities more to that point. But the main thing is that it will have full Linux support at full release through our independent testing and probably a select number of Linux testers for us as well. So a very good question. Very, very good question. Are there any plans for co-op, just you and one buddy crushing space? Asks Jake Lama. It is a single-player experience. We're designing it to be a single-player game. It's what we want it to be. It's what our vision is. If we were to go into a co-op mode, we would be asking for a lot more money. We would be looking at another year or more of development time on top of that. Like multiplayer, online access in a nutshell is very, very challenging to do. And it's just not really what we want to do. Like we want to be a single player game, and that's where our focus is at. But you never know what we could come up with in the future. Cheers to that. When will the demo be available? The demo will be handed out to all Kickstarter backers at the tier. It's like the standard. What's the tier called? Dang it! I forget what the tier is. It's basically the standard tier. If you purchase that or anything higher, the demo will be distributed at the end of the Kickstarter to all of those Kickstarter backers. That will move. That will be an independent game, so you'll get a Steam key for it, have access to it on Steam, all that type of stuff. Then whenever the alpha goes live next year, that will be a separate game. So you'll always have the demo in its current state forever. The alpha, however, will transition into the beta, which will transition into the early access, which will obviously transition into the full game. So you'll see that will have like the full range of it. So whether you dive in during the alpha or the beta or the early access, whatever point you're doing, it's just a matter of how much you're able to contribute and provide feedback for the team, depending on when you want to dive in. But that's all, again, that's all separate from the demo. So that's kind of the timeline there. Good question. How do you see the game evolving over time? Oh my gosh. In so many ways. Oh, that's too difficult of a question to ask. But I'm going to try and answer it as best I can without providing too much of stuff that we're going to be showing you very soon. Essentially, a lot more places to go, a lot more things to do, a lot more missions to undertake. A lot more item variety and depth of abilities and combinations of synergistic tools. So many more like intense space combats, maybe with small fleets and squadrons. A lot of smaller bosses, mini bosses, but then also some really big bad bosses, not just in the form of, like massive war vessels, but why not space stations as well that you have to undertake and maybe like completely raid out a base. And we're also looking at interior spaces as opportunities, planetary combat where you're flying in Atmo. We're looking at having various companions as well that you're going to meet along the way and have their own unique missions and stories to tell. This is all, of course, going to be encompassed in a very massive campaign that sets you into a 20 to 30 hour experience for yourself, which of course you can divert away from at any point in time to do any of the other things mentioned. We're looking into space critters. I'm sure some of you guys have seen the concept art. Interacting with very large organic life forms could definitely be a thing. We're looking at possible crafting options and tons of customization. Guys, I could go on and on and on about how much more is going to be added to this game, because what you see here, just this sliver of a demo, this is like 1 to 5% of the full experience. Okay, that's it. That's it. You're seeing nothing. So if you like what you see here already, you're gonna freaking lose it when we're done. You're absolutely gonna go bonkers. And if you like what you see here, all the more reason to help us make this be the best game it can possibly be. You support us on Kickstarter, your feedback, that you can't get much more intimate with a developer than that. Like that is so integral to helping us do our jobs not only effectively and to the best of our abilities, but also having you play your part in like seeing through a piece of work, a game online that you just found somewhere. You're in the stream, you found a Kickstarter or whatever. Like breathe life into it. Put your mark into that experience. There are some tiers where people, like we have our big boss guy, the I think it's called Big Boss. They are designing an entire boss battle in the game. They're setting it up. They're doing it. Those are the types of possibilities you have during crowdfunding like this. You can't get that with a pre-order. You can't get that when you buy the full game after it's released. That opportunity is only now, and you have 17 days left if you want to be a part of that. So if you like where this is going, if you liked some of those details that I had mentioned, dive in. Because this isn't going to last forever. And when those doors shut in 17 days, only the people who supported us in the Kickstarter are going to have that chance. Sure, you can join the community, you can give your feedback to the alpha, beta, early access, absolutely. But creating your mark on the game, it's now or never, guys. So, just throwing that out there. Make sure you know. Woo! How about that? How about that? All right. I want to do one more thing. One more thing before the stream goes. Not dock. I want to go somewhere else. We want to go destroy the exterior of the base. because it's always awesome. So we're going to go to this unknown location, and because... Oh, we got intercepted? Oh, come on. Game even knows that we're pressed for time. It's like, nope, I'm going to have you do this instead. That's fine. Alright. Now, on to what we were doing. Get there. So you can see fast travel is going to be a means of getting around. And beyond that, of course, there's going to be other means of transportation. Like, if your home base is all the way over here, and you're stuck all the way over here, and you want to change your ship, you think that we're going to demand that you take like 20, 30 minutes to fly all the way back to your home base and change your ship? I don't see that happening. We'll have a lot of different opportunities for you to just get in, get out, play the game, and, you know, just do, you know? Alright, where's this base? Let's go destroy that base, y'all. Upvote for ramming the drone. Oh, you guys. Alright, here we are. There's this base, and don't worry about the evacuee talking at the bottom. It's actually for a different little mission that's in the area. We want to just assault this base. Lots of little sights on it. Nothing too crazy or demanding. Perfect. Get this turret out of the way as well. Lots of external sights to hit like this. And the more we take out, the weaker this base ends up becoming. Just the exterior of the space for now. For now. Alright, destroy this last banner. This thing opens up. Destroyed. Guy comes out. He's really mad at us. Perfect. He's dead, and now we're going to take all his loot. Beautiful. This is a nice little quick base raid on the exterior of it, and we could go underneath. We'd have to pull some of these things out of the way first. So, like, we could grab this piece of garbage, for example, and move it over here. Maybe launch it towards that turret that's really annoying. So it'll block that missile for us. Ah, we missed the turret, dang it. That would have been awesome if we would have taken it out, but that's fine. Let's pull some more of this out. Whoops. Let's pull more of this out of the way. Get out of here. Alright. So now we could sneak in here, find some stuff, get some loot. You guys know the drill. Lot of this is not inside of the base either. This is underneath the base. Whenever I say inside, like interior missions, guys, I'm talking about like full-blown, like you're actually close quarter combat. Think Descent. Oh, somebody just went Descent? What? Yeah. It's going to be kind of spaces akin to that. But of course we'll have more to show on that later because my time is unfortunately over for you guys today. Let's look at a couple more questions before we log out though, because I know you guys have been asking some really great questions. I've really appreciated the community here. Like, you guys are freaking awesome. You guys are seriously freaking awesome. You make my job so easy. So thank you for that. Oh, it's great. Will the demo receive regular updates? The demo will not have regular updates. The demo will be a slice of what we have to offer. There is going to be a little bit more added and tweaked from the version that you see here. It's not going to get anything too crazy. Just a couple little modifiers and whatnot, tweak behind the scenes. But rest assured, whenever the alpha goes live, there's going to be a lot of new content to explore, and that will absolutely receive regular updates. So that's a really good question. I need to jump back over to Twitch, because because I know you guys have been asking so many questions. Can you play that dual monitor? We will have a lot of different monitor setups capable for your game. I know that we are looking at triple monitors, developing for that. So, yes. Dyson spheres like the Freelancer one. Oh, man, that would be so cool. Taking a space killer whale and put it next to a boss. Oh, my gosh. You guys... Ancient Temple in Everspace 1 was based on a top-tier backer. It's true. This is a fact. Michael, speaking dat truth. Will there only be one base station, or can you create more? Guess we'll have to find out together. Let's see. Any more questions? Can you have a role in game, like being a medic to your fleet, an armor giver, or someone of your fleet that is a medic? That's a particularly interesting question that I haven't seen asked before. Because it's a role-playing game, you will definitely be able to diversify your ship to be more effective in certain regards than others. Regarding a specific fleet, however, I'm going to have to chuck that one up to... We'll have more information about what squadrons and fleets and companions look like at a later point in time. I really like your mindset. I really like your thoughts regarding that. It's hard to speak on it because we're still so early in development, right? We would love to take really rich, meaningful ideas and like capitalize on that and like make them happen. But we have to prioritize various elements and various things, much like any developer does through the process. And we're taking really great care in our focus. And that's not currently on the table so much. So you will have a ton of customization, which you saw today. We showed off a lot of different ships. We talked a lot about the modular system that we are using, the engines, the cockpits, the wings. You're going to be twisting and taking those all to your liking, optimizing your play, as well as using all of these different tools that are going to come together, create an assortment of abilities for you. Please, please, please have interior missions on giant ships. I'm just going to say done. I'm just... done. No, it's not done. It's still a work in progress. But, yeah, there you go. We'll have more information about it, too. Oh, my gosh. One more question. Will there be more save games, save slots? I will just answer that with this straight up. Because Everspace 1 is a looter shooter, Diablo in space, we want to take great care so that you don't get shafted upon finding a legendary weapon, die, start back from a save point, and not have that weapon anymore. That would suck. You agree? We agree as well. So we're going to take very great care in the saving system that we utilize so that you can capitalize on all that sweet loot that you find without being penalized just for playing the game. Guys, I have been talking way too long. I actually have to go help my wife with my children. It's time for me to log out. But thanks again so much for being a part of the stream. You guys seriously are amazing. Michael, also your assistance in the chats, it's always huge. Give that man a high five for me if you're ever in Hamburg, Germany. It's 1 in a million for sure. Read up on all the details that I dropped for you, and also make sure that you become a part of our community by going to the Discord at discord.gg/rockfishgames, joining over us on Twitter at Rockfish Games or at Everspace_games to follow all the little news drops and pieces. Between you and me, we also drop a lot of information on Discord, so make sure that you're there, really. And then that last little link is the Kickstarter itself, bit.ly/ES2KS. For all of your knowledge and updates and everything, be sure to not only follow all those things, but also, of course, this particular stream, because I'm giving you the drop the moment that we can talk about it. So please come back next week when we are talking all about the environments and the designs thereof in Everspace 2. We're going to have a lot more to showcase. It's going to be a really fun time. I hope to see you there. Guys, don't stop being awesome. I won't stop being Eric Schrader, the community ambassador for Rockfish Games. You guys have been an absolute pleasure. We'll see you in the next stream. And I'll also see you in Discord. Toodles!